I hope you are all well. Thank you so much for joining today's webinar. I'm pleased to be joined today in alphabetical order by Daryl Conway. Daryl is our Senior Associate Athletic Director and Chief Health and Welfare Officer here in our athletic department. Abigail Eiler is Assistant Director and Clinical Assistant Professor in the, does work with the School of Social Work and in our athletic department. Abigail is also, I think, in her third different location here trying to make this webinar work, and I really appreciate her efforts. And Caroline Mandel is our Director of Performance Nutrition here in the athletic department. Kicking this off right now, you know, I really thought it was important for us to do something. Obviously, you know, the media, everybody who covers Michigan athletics, so valuable to what we do and getting the word out. And then we have wonderful experts here in our athletic department. And I thought this would be an appropriate way to kind of start communicating with folks about what the University of Michigan is doing. So kicking this off for our panelists, for each one of your areas, you know, what has been the reaction to the areas that you oversee, specifically around the cancellation of our seasons, both competitive and practice seasons?
I'll start off. I think at first it was shock. I think it was more shock that they actually canceled March Madness and canceled tournaments, but I think it was a shock and a lot of unknown about what was going on. But I think the areas that I oversaw quickly mobilized within minutes to make sure that we're supporting the student athlete. And I think that's what's always at the forefront of what we do and how we feel. But I think it was, you know, a quick 1 or 2 minute shock, and then everybody mobilized as to what we can do to support the student athlete and really thinking ahead and you know, what do we need to do in the future to help support the student athlete?
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, so the athletic counseling team participated in nearly every team meeting to discuss these like fluid changes related to academics and practice and competition and beyond. And so we saw a significant amount of shock that Daryl alluded to, but also sadness and kind of these stages of grief of like denial. This can't be happening. And why is this happening to us? And how can we change this? And like, what are we going to do next? So it was a lot of unknown and almost like those Kubler-Ross models of grief stages that, you know, so many of us have become familiar with. And then the reaction beyond, okay, now what's next? That open-ended, what do we do to continue to take care of ourselves and stay committed to our institution?
Yeah, we really saw the same thing and were present in fueling stations and at meals initially as things were changing day to day and hour to hour, and wanted to just really be present and available for the athletes because there's so many emotions going around. And at the same time, trying to get that real baseline education started immediately and reinforce the hand washing and the distancing and just being good listeners and being very understanding because no one really knew what was coming next. We could only deal with what was right in front of us. But behind the scenes, we'd already started a lot of contingency planning.